I'm Mark Matsumoto and welcome to my Tokyo kitchen. Today I want to show you a variation on Yaki Udon that's stir-fried with beef and broccoli, so stick around. Yaki Udon is a Japanese noodle stir-fry that's in the same category as yakisoba, but instead of using Chinese-style ramen noodles, it's made with thicker udon. I've done a more traditional version of this street food staple in the past, but I'm a big fan of broccoli beef, and this mashup turns this udon stir-fry into a mouth-watering one-pan meal that comes together in minutes. Sounds good, right? Let's have a look at our ingredients. For the beef, I'm using 200 grams of A4 grade Wagyu top round steak, but you can use any relatively tender cut of beef, such as ribeye or flank steak. For the marinade, we're using a teaspoon of soy sauce, a teaspoon of sake, 7 grams of garlic, and 7 grams of ginger. For the sauce, I've got 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce, 2 tablespoons of sake, and a half teaspoon of black pepper. To make the stir fry, I'm using 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil, 100 grams of broccoli, and 400 grams of pre-cooked udon noodles. These came frozen, but I'll include a link to my recipe to make them from scratch in the video description. For the beef, I'm gonna cut it up into slices that are about 1/8 of an inch thick. You don't want these to be too thin or it'll dry out, and you also don't want it too thick or it can end up tough. You want to make sure you're cutting against the grain, and since it's running top to bottom in this steak, I'm slicing it at a 30-degree angle. Once the beef's sliced up, drop it into a bowl, drizzle on the soy sauce, and the sake. Then I'm gonna grate in the garlic. This ensures the flavor permeates the meat much faster than if we were to chop it up. Then I'm gonna grate in the ginger. Ginger contains a proteolytic enzyme called zingiberine, which breaks down proteins, so it's a very effective meat tenderizer. Okay, let's mix this all together. And then I'm gonna set it aside while I prep the other ingredients. For the broccoli, I'm just gonna cut off some of the florets from the stem. This is way more broccoli than I need, so I'm gonna save the rest for something else. And then I'm gonna divide the bigger florets into halves or even quarters. You want all of them to be bite-sized, and I like to slice through the stem and pull the tops apart so the tops maintain a more natural shape. The last thing you need to make is a sauce, so I'm adding the oyster sauce, sake, and black pepper to a bowl. And then I'm gonna stir it all together to combine. Before we fry this up, I want to thank Musubi Kiln for sending over this stunning handcrafted Hibino Ikkyun plate. Having beautiful plates like this is one way to take your presentation to the next level, and I've curated a collection of some of my favorite tableware on Musubi Kiln's website. So hit the link in the description down below to check it out, and be sure to use coupon code NORECIPES to get 5% off your order. Okay, I've got a large pan preheating over medium-high heat, and I've added the oil and the broccoli. Then I'm gonna stir fry these until they've absorbed the oil and they've started to turn vibrant green. Next, let's add our beef. I'm gonna spread it out into a single layer, and you'll wanna make sure that each slice of beef is unfurled so it cooks through evenly. I like using chopsticks to do this, but use whatever implement that you find easiest to work with. Okay, the beef's laid out flat now, and it's starting to brown on the bottom, so let's start stirring. This is where tossing comes in handy because it lets you easily flip all of the food in the pan at one time. But if you're not confident with your tossing skills, you can also just use 2 spatulas to toss it like a salad. When the beef is mostly cooked, I'm gonna add the pre-cooked udon noodles and toss it together with the beef. Then let's add the sauce, and I'm gonna turn up the heat to glaze the beef, broccoli, and udon with this umami-packed sauce. Once there's no liquid left in the bottom of the pan and the glaze starts to brown, our beef and broccoli udon stir fry is done. All right, let's plate this up. There's nothing fancy to do here, but I like to stack layers of yaki udon noodles with layers of broccoli and beef. Easy, right? I can't even begin to describe how ridiculously good this smells, so let's try it out. Itadakimasu. Oh man, it's like glowing. All right, get some beef and some broccoli. That's a big bite. This is like an explosion of umami in your mouth. You've got that melt in your mouth tender beef that's super flavorful. And because we marinated it with ginger and garlic, that ginger contains an enzyme called zingiberine, which tenderizes the meat. The broccoli is crunchy and fresh. And then you've got that layer of udon that's beautifully chewy and it's absorbed all of the flavors from the sauce. Between the umami from that oyster sauce and that peppery kick from the black pepper, I just can't imagine a combination going together better than these. This beef and broccoli yaki udon is a super easy weeknight meal, and it won't even heat up your kitchen that much, so I hope you'll give it a try. All right, I'm just gonna go straight up noodles for the last bite. Now those are just strands of happiness. Well, I've got to start packing for a trip to the US, but check out this playlist for more quick noodle recipes. And I'll catch you in the next one.